KREM 2 News at Noon begins now.
A new ordinance would create safe zones in Spokane away from immigration enforcement. What parts of the city would count as protected?
Well, shadow or not, it's feeling quite warm as we start February. We're tracking a bit of rain for this afternoon as well.
And today, the U.S. government is in a partial government shutdown. We are tracking the impacts and when the government is expected to reopen. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Laura Papetti. It is good to see you on this Monday. We're going to start the week right with Thomas Patrick and head outside. Thomas, boy, I don't know how to describe the weather right now except for gray.
Yeah, I think that's an appropriate way to describe it, Laura. Kind of mild for February as we take you to our outdoor weather center. Sans any groundhogs or marmots or rodents or whatnot out here. Just me and just the green screen behind me. And perhaps a little bit of rain passing through central and eastern Washington. We've been watching this batch of moisture start over Seattle earlier this morning, finally getting some headway now into Lincoln and Adams County, a bit into Whitman County as well. So it looks like in Davenport, a little bit of rain on the way. I will say this, I think you should mostly ignore any blue. Current temperatures at 40 degrees. That would be way too warm for any snow to pop up at low elevations. I think the mountains in Ferry County could actually get a little bit of snow, but again, at elevation. So you see Sprague and Ritzville getting some rain along I-90 in this stretch here as everything's moving eastward. Just getting into Colfax and Pullman pretty shortly. I would expect rain probably between now and the top of this next hour. And again, temperatures have already eclipsed that 40-degree mark. So that's why there's no mention of any snow in the forecast, despite what top of the radar is kind of incorrectly analyzing at the moment. But it's got the precipitation, which is on the way for Spokane. Probably around like 1 to 2 o'clock, we'll expect at least a little bit of light rain. Meanwhile, all of this week looks pretty warm. All of next week looks pretty warm as we are entering yet another very warm stretch of weather. So with that being said, I'll show you how many days I already have forecasted in the 50s upcoming here.
Thomas, thank you. Right now, Spokane City Council members are talking about a new ordinance that would establish immigration enforcement-free zones throughout the whole city. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones reports what this ordinance would do right here in Spokane.
Yeah, well, if this ordinance is accepted, it would ultimately create safe spaces here in Spokane. That means establishing protections against immigration enforcement on city-owned property. The ordinance would prohibit agents from staging on city property and prevent any surveillance on city-owned property. So at noon today, there will be a hearing at the Public Safety and Community Health meeting. Council members will get a chance to weigh in.
In committee, we're going to be bringing forward an ICE free zone ordinance that would ban ICE from staging and surveillance in city-owned property.
Again, the first reading of that ordinance getting underway here pretty soon. And if any new developments come from that meeting, we'll be sure to keep you updated across all KREM 2 platforms. In the studio, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Across the country and here in the inland Northwest, protests have been held against ICE and other federal immigration policies. However, over the weekend, one group did hold a pro-ICE rally in Idaho. This was the scene in Boise. The group rallied at the state's capital, showing support for federal agents.
I stand behind ICE and what they're trying to do, and they're doing the right thing. They're following the law.
Counter-protesters were just feet away, pushing back on the pro-ICE supporters. They say they feel ICE enforcement policies have been going too far and have been hurting immigrant families. The search is still on for the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. Now, according to the sheriff's office in Tucson County, Nancy Guthrie was last seen Saturday night in Tucson. And then in a press conference, the Pima County Sheriff says investigators now believe that a crime has been committed. Also new from over the weekend, a 19-year-old is in custody after allegedly driving his car through a crowd of people over the weekend. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says the 19-year-old got into his car after what they are calling a disturbance during a house party on Saturday night. The Sheriff's Office says Elaine Petaleon Suarez hit a person in the driveway, then drove away. Right now, he is in the Grant County Jail for vehicular assault, DUI, and hit and run. The Sheriff's Office says the person who was hit had unspecified injuries. They also declined being treated. And today, 2 kayakers are safe after being rescued by the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office Marine Unit. One of the kayaks capsized yesterday well out on Lake Pend Oreille. The 2 kayakers were crossing from the Bayview area to the east side of the lake when this happened. Emergency crews were able to rescue the 2 from the shoreline. Officials say the lake temperature was at about 34 degrees. Now, the kayakers were okay, but they were cited for not having the required flotation device on board.